Hi everybody, Morgana Galaxia here. Welcome to my channel. I am on today because I want to take a look at Putin. This whole Ukraine thing is just on the news. It's a really big deal. And, we just got out of a war, right? Biden just ended the longest war the United States has ever been in Afghanistan. And it's like we just got out of it, and now here we are sending troops again. I'm not really sure because, obviously to defend Ukraine, to back up our allied partners. The thing is that Ukraine is not in NATO, so they're not technically one of our allies. They're not really any of NATO's allies. So I'm a little confused as to why everyone's springing into action. I mean, obviously I understand, what Putin's doing is invading a sovereign nation. Nobody wants that to happen. They want to box them in and contain them. But technically, as Ukraine is not a NATO and is not an ally, there are not those guarantees, right? That we would, the obligation for us to defend them. So, yeah, it's looking like Putin's going to make this happen, but now people are talking about, maybe he's getting a little nervous, maybe he might back down. So yeah, we're going to take a look at Putin today in Ukraine. I think I want to do a Biden versus Putin spread and just kind of, see what the cards can tell us about the situation, what's going on. So I want to start with just very basic. Is Putin going to invade the Ukraine? So apparently he's amassed troops along three borders. Kind of just getting ready, right? And now we're amassing troops. So is Putin going to actually, hit go and invade Ukraine? Is Putin going to invade Ukraine? Okay, so we're going to start off with the Queen of Pentacles here. So I feel like, okay, this is Putin. He's got a plan in hand. He, he's thinking about the logistics, okay? The money, the troops, what's needed, the resources that are needed for this incursion, I guess we could call it that. And here we are with the Knight of Cups. Here's the invasion, right? He's on his horse. He's moving into battle. And then we're ending with the Nine of Wands, which means, it's not going to go, it's not going to be an easy peasy exercise for Putin. He's going to come upon some challenges. He's going to find it very difficult to perform this incursion. There's going to be others there defending Ukraine. So basically, it's going to be tough. He might go in there thinking this is just going to be a done deal, but he's going to be facing opposition. He's going to be facing, troops from other nations. So this is going to be difficult for him. It's a difficult endeavor. It's not going to be easy. It's going to, in some ways, it's going to kneecap him. He's going to be damaged from this. It's going to weaken him. It's going to shake his confidence. He's going to find that it was a lot tougher than he thought to do this. But yes, it does look like indeed he's got the plan and the resources all lined up. He's feeling his authority. He's ready to go. Boom, there he's doing it. But ouch, it's going to sting. He's going to be a little battered up. All right, he's going to be... it's gonna cause him some trouble, some difficulties. Okay, well, that's just basically a quick see. Is he gonna do it? Yes. Okay, so maybe we can just get a quick look at how it's gonna be resolved. I'd like to know at the end of this, how is it gonna be resolved? Some choices. What, he actually annexes the Ukraine, or he starts but then reverses and backs down, or he gets beaten back by NATO allies, something else happens. How in the end is this going to end? How's it going to end in the end? What does the end of this look like? Let's see. What does the end of this Ukraine incursion look like? Well, how does the end of this incursion look like? So we're starting off with the Queen of Cups. So this is going to be something that people are going to be very emotional about. They're going to have to deal with this in an emotional way. You know, the Queen often indicates that there's a secret there, and the cup she's holding, a lot of decks have a lid on that cup and that there's a secret. In this deck, there's not. So there's going to be information revealed about this. We're going to be finding out what the actual intent was. What was Putin trying to get out of this? You know, I mean, what we're hearing, of course, is that he needs a buffer between Russia and NATO, as if Western countries, you know, are just itching to attack Russia and he needs this buffer. But we know that's not the case. He's the aggressor. If he would just leave people alone, everybody would just be happy to let Russia do their thing and be what they want to be and do what they want to do, as long as you don't hurt anybody, right? It's not until Putin gets aggressive and, you know, goes into Crimea, goes into Ukraine, goes into wherever he goes, when he starts being the aggressor, that's when the trouble happens. So this is all about Putin. And this Queen with this cup is telling us, or asking us to look at, what are his intentions, his motivations? What is he hopeful for? What is he fearing? So it's all about emotional issues, you know, how he feels about Russia, the history of Russia, the future of Russia. It's all, what's a better way to say it than emotional issues? It's non-economic, right? It's not about economy. It's not about money or weapons. This is about ideological issues, right? About power. This is power plays and things of that nature. So then we're moving into the Nine of Cups. So this would be a very nice ending. The ending, you get everything you want. Your cups are full. You're happy. You've achieved everything you wanted to achieve, and you're happy. In the end, we have the Four of Cups, which is, you know, procrastinating on making a really tough decision, or you don't like your options. Okay. So how does this translate, okay, as far as the ending for Ukraine? I think we're going to find out why this really went down with Putin, why he's really doing this, what his intentions are, what his secret agenda really is here, where his headspace is. He might, and it seems like he's going to satisfy those elements. You know, I want to go in Ukraine, so I'm gonna, and I did, and now I'm happy. How would I word this? There's gonna be some satisfaction there for him, but it's his personal satisfaction, not necessarily those of his nation, right? He's gonna get out of this, I guess, what he wanted to get out of it. But in the end, it's leaving him in a position where he still has unpopular options in front of him. There's things in front of him he's going to have to decide that he doesn't like. So I get the feeling that if he goes into Ukraine and wreaks a bunch of havoc, and it's sort of like it's the journey that he's looking for and not the end result. You know, he wants to go in Ukraine to cause some trouble, rile up the West, scare Ukraine, do whatever it is that's his agenda there. It sounds like he meets that agenda for the most part, But in the end, to what end? I mean, what did you really accomplish? He's not going to be satisfied in the end, you know, it's not like a wishes granted kind of situation. After all is said and done, he's going to be in a sort of precarious position where now he has to make some choices and he doesn't like his options. So, in other words, are these the sanctions that have been threatened against him? The personal sanctions that have been threatened against him? The changes to, you know, to the spheres of influence that this is going to have, the power dynamics that are going to shift. A lot of these sort of more global issues that deal with his relationship with other countries, NATO, the wider world. Oh, you know, he's going to be in a situation where he's got to make some choices and he doesn't like his options. So, you know, he might not want to choose to endure personal sanctions, but he doesn't want to choose to endure, you know, national sanctions against Russia, or, you know, any of the other things that can be done to him or to Russia regarding this attack. So yeah, he's going to have to deal with some consequences. Choices he don't like. He's going to have to make them because he had to satisfy his own personal desires. Okay, so I'll leave that there. So it looks like in some ways he gets what he wanted out of this, but in the end he's still stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, it doesn't move him forward in any kind of way. It's like self-satisfied, but now what? You know, you showed you're a big man, you invaded Ukraine. Okay, now what? Now you're going to be stuck with sanctions or other kinds of punishments that you're going to have to figure out how to endure. Okay, so let's just jump right into Biden versus Putin. My versus spread. Biden versus Putin. Biden versus Putin. Biden versus Putin. Get a good shuffle on this. Biden versus Putin. Let's get a good shuffle. Okay. Biden versus Putin. All right, let's see if I can bring you down for this one. Right, so on this side is Biden, and on this side here is Putin. So Biden, don't know if this is really going to happen. Let's see. Biden, oh. Okay, versus Putin. And let's put a nice little card here right in the middle. We'll check it at the end for their situation. So here we're going to have the top card here. What's in these men's heads? What are they thinking? Their headspace. This is how they see each other. This is what's in their hearts. And this is going to be their upcoming action. So let's bring it back up. All right. So for what's in these men's headspace, we'll start right off with Biden. Three of Swords. So this is telling us, poor Biden, he's just like, God damn it. He is so upset, beside himself with this. This is the last thing that he wanted. He's angry. He's pissed. He might even be a little vengeful. He's going to have to keep his negative emotions in check. I mean, the man just got us out of our longest war, and now he's kind of being forced into participating in another one. He is angry at Putin. He is angry that this is happening to his presidency. He's just angry. There's so many other things he'd rather be dealing with, from the economy, build back better. He needs to deal with this insurrection. He's dealing with Trump and the fall of that family. A corrupted Congress. Now he's got to put Supreme Court. I mean, this man has things to do. He's not trying to mess with Russia. He is so beside himself. I would say mostly with anger, but just all the other expected emotions, right? There's anxiety, there's fear, there's obviously anger, just all of it, all of it. Hope he meditates, because he's going to have to continually calm himself down, center himself, focus himself, so he can make non-emotional decisions here. But his head is spinning. For Putin, we have the Lovers. The Lovers. So of course, this is a relationship. So it could be the relationship between Russia and Ukraine. I'm also feeling, this is a relationship almost of, I swear as soon as I get on a video, I can't think of the words I want to think of. But he's like beholden to someone. He's overly attached to someone. I feel like this is like the oligarchs, right? In other words, Putin, this isn't just about himself. There are other relationships at play here. There are other people's agendas here, people that he has close relationships to and that he's really tied to. For example, these are those big Russian oligarchs, and they're conspiring with him to invade Ukraine, or there's just other parties at play with Putin, okay, that he's thinking about, that he's planning with, that he's referring to, that he's getting the help from. There are important relationships indicated by this card. So in his mind, what is he thinking about? He's thinking about relationships, important ones. So it could be the oligarchs. It could be his relationship with NATO, his relationship with the Russian military, his relationship with his troops, his relationship with his populace. There are relationship ties that he's really concerned about. So one of the things that we've been hearing a lot about here is that Russia does not like casualties. They don't like their soldiers getting harmed, right? This is one of their cultural things. They have a lot of respect and love for their military and their soldiers, and they don't like casualties. And look at this card with the soldier and the woman. My thinking is, if there are civilian casualties here, that's really going to upset the populace, right? If a lot of soldiers are killed, a lot of soldiers die, right, leaving their spouses behind, that's really going to roil up the Russian people. So it's these relationship issues that are taking up a lot of his headspace. Okay, we're moving down to, how do these two men see each other? So for Biden, with the 8 of Cups, he sees Putin as someone who is willing to turn his back and walk away from the sort of status quo that we've been living in at this time, which is basically peace, right? And there's loss here. So I feel like he's going to see Putin as someone who is going to do this thing, spill a lot of cups. There's going to be a lot of loss here, a lot of emotional turmoil. Just one sec. Sorry about that. So how these men see each other. We're Biden with the 8 of Cups looking at Putin. So he sees this guy as someone whose actions are going to cause a lot of loss. And in the end, he is going to have to stop his actions, walk away from it. So in Biden's perspective, what Putin is doing is folly. It's not going to accomplish anything but loss. It's not going to do anything but harm. And in the end, Putin is going to be the worse for it. And he's going to have to give it up and walk away unsuccessful. So yeah, I think Biden is basically looking at this as folly, a no-win situation that Putin is just sort of doing to himself. It's causing a lot of hardship, a lot of heartache, a lot of loss, and a lot of drama. And in the end, he is going to have to walk away because there's no success to be had there. He's just going to have to walk away and leave a mess. Putin's going to leave a mess, is how Biden is thinking. For Putin, looking at Biden, excuse me, he looks at Biden, he sees the Nine of Wands, all right? We're hobbled. We're weakened. We've been kneecapped. We're down. And so he's going to kick us now that we're down. Now that we're weakened, he's going to take advantage. So yeah, it's opportunistic. And a lot of the reasons that we're weakened right now is because of him, right? His meddling in our election, helping Trump get into office with the intention, which is what happened, of him dismantling our system of government, throwing over our norms, right? Undermining the Constitution, undermining the rule of law. And aside from Trump, there was just the massive hacking, the cyber attacks that he's been doing. There's all just the economic damage that he's doing. So he has taken steps to weaken the United States, and he sees that it's been effective. We're handicapped. We're kind of a little bit down, and yeah, he's going to use this opportunity to come at us. So what's in these two men's hearts? For Biden, we have the World card, and I really see this in its best light. In Biden's heart, he is wanting and working for a new beginning, a new world, a whole new world order, one that is based on peace and joy and love, right? I mean, look at this beautiful card. It's a grand end. It's an ending to the old way of life and a grand beginning into something new and better, a renaissance. This is the renaissance that he keeps talking about. So he has got a vision. He has got a wonderful vision for the United States that is altruistic, that is of the highest order. He's not afflicted with greed and corruption and all these other things that so many other politicians are on both sides. He's just an elder. I just think he's aged out of that. He's just not in a place in his life where he needs to be incessantly greedy. He's just not that man. He has a vision for the United States where we live up to our highest ideals and we're that shining beacon for the rest of the world. He has faith that this is who we are and what we can return to. It's an incredible vision, and that's exactly what I think people should want in a president. Someone who has a clear vision of where to lead the country for our highest ideals and the betterment of all. Now for Putin, he's got Temperance. So this is also a divinely guided card. Very often, a lot of other decks, this would be an angel, but it's about balance, patience, and where I'm feeling with Putin with this card here is that he wants to reassert Russia's greatness on the world stage. He feels that there's been an imbalance. The West has too much power. Russia's been undermined, reduced, weakened, humiliated, mistreated, disrespected, right? All these things. And his goal is to lift Russia up so it can be that dominant world power again and equalize global power to balance the United States and the West in power, okay? He wants Russia to be great again. So for action, what is going to be their action with Biden, we have the Ace of Wands. So this man's getting to work. He's got plans. He has the energy to meet them or to start them. You know, he's got action he wants to take. He's got work he wants to do. He's not resting on his laurels. He's got things he wants to do for, you know, and we all know what those things are. Build Back Better, voting rights, climate change, all of it. There's a lot of work to be done, and he wants to get to that work. That's why he is so pissed off. He don't want to be fooling with Putin right now, but Putin, he just has to be center stage. Okay, so that is what Biden's going to be doing. What's Putin going to be doing? Oh, the Judgment card. Oof. So this is Putin's action here, and this card of Judgment, you know, can have this idea of making that last call, you know, being the deciding factor. It's closely tied to justice, but isn't always justice. As the leader, he makes the calls. He has the last word. I guess let me just stop beating around the bush here. And I almost feel like this is him sending people over to the other side. You know, this is the sort of trumpet of the angels. You know, when you die, you know, it's that final judgment, I guess is where I'm going with this, that final judgment, right? And I feel like he's sending these soldiers to some of them to their deaths if they go into battle, if they start fighting, if this is a war that really pans out, he's going to be sending people to their final judgments, you guys. So that tells us there's going to be some casualties. There's going to be some collateral damage. There's going to be, whether it's soldiers or civilians that are hurt and killed in this action. Yeah. And that is kind of what Biden can kind of already see. You know, he's got that long view. Dude, you're going to be suffering losses. This is an indication of those losses, Okay. So there's a card I put in the middle to kind of summarize the relationship between these two. And we have the Empress. The Empress. So, you know, what the heck does that mean? What I'm feeling, I took a second to kind of get into this card. The feeling that I'm getting is that climate change activities, our two nations working together seriously to deal with climate issues is something that can bring us together. It's something that can kind of to tie us together in a more beneficial way, something that we can be on the same team about, something that we can respect each other for, something that we can cooperate on, is climate and climate-related issues. We've all heard about Siberia having over 100-degree days. You know, Russia's a huge, huge nation. And COVID is a really big deal in Russia as well. There are issues that affect the globe that Putin can't just ignore. And as climate change becomes more and more pressing, he is going to have to work with other nations. That's just how it is. You can't do climate change yourself. And I'm just feeling that this, you know, obviously a horrible thing. Climate change is terrible, but it's an opportunity for the US and Russia to work together and maybe start to heal some of those conflicts, turn over a new leaf and just sort of be more cooperative. It can be an entry point into a better relationship, a way to try to start to normalize relations, okay, is through climate activity work together. That's what I'm getting off of that. So I think I am going to leave that there for today. And I will be with you guys again shortly for some more readings. But until then, have a great couple of days, everybody, and I'll see you soon. All right, take care. Bye.